And welcome back to part 8, and hopefully the final part. We'll see what happens with this video of What If Goku Was a Girl? Last time on the Dragon Ball Z What If. A lot actually happened. We had basically the Buu arc come to an immediate halt because they were able to stop Buu's resurrection. However, Babidi had decided to control Vegeta and try to turn him against the Z-Fighters, only for him to ultimately be defeated. Babidi and Vegeta were both basically incarcerated and was sent to the Galactic Patrol. And now Raditz is the lone character. I don't know if I mentioned what was going on with Raditz in this person. I do believe Raditz is actually fine. Like, Raditz stays with the group and is actually perfectly, he's actually grown to enjoy his life there. He doesn't ever really like Vegeta to begin with. And who knows, maybe he and Bulma could eventually, get together. Bulma liked Vegeta, had a kid with him, but this Vegeta just didn't turn out very well. And Raditz, he ain't bad looking either. He's attentive. He actually finds what she's saying interesting and all that. And, he's actually kind of a decent stepdad to Trunks. So, eventually she kind of gives him a chance. And over those 4 years between Z and Super, maybe Bra is born. I'm just saying, anything is possible. Now, there is a strong difference, though, in this version. Is that, this would put, first off, this would put Trunks and Gohan they're roughly the same age. This puts them, I believe, around 11 years old. Second off, I do think, Krillin and Goku end up having Goten at some point in that time frame. So, Goku does have to skip on training again for the second time, but they have another kid. Which is all great, but Goten is like little baby Goten, no more than maybe 2 years old. Gohan, meanwhile, is following well into his mom and dad's footsteps, where he is balancing both his training and his studies, so he actually can have an education and a life beyond just fighting. But he never forgets his heritage. Absolutely not. Krillin finds ways to make money. Obviously, in the Super, he's a police officer, so I'm sure Krillin's probably done that. But also doesn't stop training either. And I think we would catch up with the Son family, or whatever Krillin's last name would be. Do we have an idea? Do we know if Krillin's like, I'm looking that up right now. Does Krillin have a last name? As far as I know, he doesn't. Let's see now. Krillin. Last name? Hold on. There you go. Krillin. Krillin. Last name? Okay. Yep, that was the first one I put in last. Krillin. As far as I can tell, does he have a last name? The others who don't have their own last names are Krillin, Yamcha, Tien. Well, I've seen, what are you talking about? Tien and Shinhan. What the hell are you talking about? And Mutan Roshi, which is Master Roshi. How are you not some watch this? You think Master Roshi is my real name? Oh, God bless you, Team 4-Star. Yeah, I guess Krillin just doesn't have a surname, so maybe, honestly, Krillin could have taken Goku's name. Progressive times, whatever. Son Krillin doesn't sound bad at all. Why not? Let's go with that. And really, they're having a family vacation, training vacation. Well, I'm sure Krillin and Goku, and even Gohan to some degree, are getting training on King Kai's planet, because they know the instant transmission. We know Goku trained there in Super to begin with. And Krillin and Goku are very well acquainted with King Kai. They both trained there for extended periods of time. So why not spend some time training on the planet? King Kai, although maybe a little taken back by this, is actually more than happy to have some company as planet besides Bubbles and Gregory. Not that he minds them, but it's nice. And he can talk with Gohan, and he gets to spend some little time with cute Goten and say, "I'm not a babysitter." Oh, he's adorable. Okay, you win this time. Oh, yes, you are. You're cute little Goten. Then and Goten sees Bubbles like, Monkey, oh, you like Bubbles, yeah, Bubbles. Why don't you and Goten play for a while? Say, So. Yeah, I can see that happening then. A family vacation at King Kai's playing against him, training in. When Beerus wakes up, that's where things get interesting. So, obviously Beerus would go to Earth, or go to King Kai's planet, and, King Kai would sense, like, no, it can't be Beerus. He's away. He's like, Beerus? King Kai, who's Beerus? You guys, you all have to hide. What's going on? Mike, actually, I was in the bad go on all these days. What do we do? What's going on? It's like, please don't. I say, really? Hide from what, Kai? Oh, hello, Lord Beerus. It's so good to see you again. Oh, is it? Because we know apparently Beerus is the one who shrunk his planet down. I don't know if he blew it up into a smaller planetoid or just somehow figured out a way to shrink it, but we know Beerus was responsible for King Kai's planet size. Apparently, it was a lot bigger. So it's like, what brings you to my planet? Oh, I woke up. I was woken from my peaceful sleep from a vision. A vision. I had a vision of of a new challenger, a rival, a Super Saiyan God, if you will. Super Saiyan God. Well, I've had a lot of experience with Saiyans. I'm not really familiar with that. It's like, yes, I can see that. And it's like, it's like Goku's like, wait, who's this guy? It's like, this is Lord Beerus. He's the destroyer god of the seven, the strongest being in the universe. It's like, really? And still being Goku's like, oh man, I'd love to have it. She goes, are you insane, Goku? And he's like, my word, in all my years, I've never had such a challenge. Why not? So really awesome. Like, be careful, honey. It's like, yeah, Mom, be careful. It's like, to which Beerus does it. Oh, you have a family too, I see. And just yeah, and Beerus, looks them over a little bit. It's like, they seem quite capable of immortals. I'll give them that. Even the little one seems to have potential. But you're clearly the strongest of the group, aren't you? Well, I don't like the brat. I don't like the brat. Honey, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, come on now. And so it's like, this is my base form. Nothing. And basically, she goes through the forms, even starts to try to push it because she's probably been training and figuring out that maybe she could push it beyond the Super Saiyan 2 form, but never been able to fully go beyond that. She probably goes into kind of like almost like a Broly form, if you will, without the Broliness. Kind of like the grade 3 form, but Super Saiyan 2-ish. Like she pushes it as far as she can and still doesn't get arrows. Like, boom, boom, Goku! It's fine. She'll be fine. Don't worry about that. Yes. I must admit, though, while that was amusing, it's not what I'm looking for. You're telling me there's a couple more Saiyans on Earth, Whis? It's like, yeah, so like, Earth, oh, wait, come back. Goku, are you okay? Mom, I'm fine. Oh, this isn't good. Oh, no, it's not. He's gonna please let nothing bad happen. Now, luckily, they're still celebrating Bulma's birthday, and Bulma's just like, oh, where is Goku? And Krillin, where's Goku and Krillin? I mean, I hope they make it, because Bulma's still having her birthday party. There is no Videl or Hercule in this version, but there is still, Raditz, their baby Bra now is there, and she's a little baby. She's probably Goten's age. Trunks is there hanging out, as well as Yamcha, Tien, Piccolo. All the group is there. Piccolo at this point in time is close enough that he's not going to be causing shit anymore. So, Beerus shows up, and there's except for Raditz, who probably at best has heard his name in passing. Like, Vegeta knew who he was because he actually saw him bitch smack his dad around. Raditz would be lucky to know what this guy's name is. But in theory, it's not impossible. So, Rad's like, King Kai tells this to Radz of all people, and explains what happens. Kakaroto's, what? And basically he does the Vegeta stick of keeping him entertained. Unfortunately, they all get there and explain, there's no, we can use Shenron to find out about the Super Saiyan God. And luckily, there's no Buddha seal of pudding, so no extra violence is taken, luckily. So they ask Shenron, they explain the ritual, and luckily we have enough Saiyans without Vegeta there for this procedure, because we have Goku would be the base, and then you needed 5 other Saiyans, because there was Goten, Gohan, Trunks, Vegeta, and Pan, baby Pan, in Videl's belly. Here you have Goku as the base, you have Gohan, you have Goten, you have Raditz, and you have Trunks. You don't even need Bra, honestly. But you could use Bra. You actually have more than enough Saiyans. And so they ultimately give the energy to Goku, and Goku goes and has her fight with Beerus. This is for Super Saiyan God form, probably is around the same, maybe even a little weaker than the one we see in the canon. But they clash. It all's well, it ends well, and yeah, Goku ultimately goes and trains with Beerus after a while. Obviously, we know Vegeta went to train with Beerus first, surprisingly. But Goku, I think, goes first instead. Raditz, I don't think has any. I don't think anyone else has interest in training into like God Ki. And I mean, it's not impossible, I guess, for a mortal to learn God Ki. We know Vegeta did not learn how to use God Ki through the ritual. We do not know how Vegeta attained God Ki. All we know is he must have done some serious training, and he did it in a record time too. He did it like within a year's time because they were gone training for like a year. So he was able to figure out a way to access God Ki within a year. So whatever the training was, while it probably was intense, it was something that Vegeta was actually able to grasp very quickly. In theory, any mortal should be able to do the same. In theory, because he's immortal too. Granted, Saiyan, sure, so Saiyan God, but still God Ki in itself. So the question I guess we'll ask ourselves now is, of all the mortals, we know Krillin would be the one, or non-Saiyans, Krillin would be the one to do, go and train. And Krillin, I think, doesn't want to feel... Krillin would debate whether or not he should do this or not. I do think, but I think he feels that he's ever since Goku's attained Super Saiyan, he can only kind of do his Kaioken to so much degree, and she's already has a much higher base than him. So he's already falling to the wayside. And as strong as Goku is, he wants to be able to protect his friends, family, and his home. So he agrees to go with, if nothing else, for moral support, go with his wife and train. But still, at the same time, he wants to make the attempt. He wants to try. Krillin is going. By the way, has Krillin grown his hair out at this point? Yes, but he still trains. I think at one point Goku basically says that. Wait, Krillin explains that he just keeps it well waxed. Like, wait, let me see what you look like with hair. So he grows it out. It's like, I kind of like you with hair. It's like Krillin's thinking, it's like, okay, hair stand. As long as it gets me some. We're guys, that's how we roll. As long as it gets us some, we'll do it. That's not true. We have standards in terms of what we will do. But let's be honest, if it makes our partner find us a bit more attractive, we're more inclined to do it. And Krillin is only flesh and blood, so Krillin probably struggles. But I imagine Krillin could pick up the idea of how to get God Ki. It probably just takes him longer because he's not a Saiyan. So getting it training the same way we should be trained, or Vegeta trained, however that was, might not initially work. But still, I still see it possible where Krillin could access it. It's a big topic, and I'm sure it's a what-if suggestion that's been given before, whether humans could get God Ki or something like that. But still, Krillin... It takes longer for Krillin to do it, but Krillin, I think, does finally access the God Ki. Only for, Goku to access Super Saiyan Blue. But still, you have it now as a God Krillin. Krillin has a God form now in this version. Where does that put him in strength? That's a good question. I would put him probably at... probably right in the neighborhood of God-level Vegeta in Resurrection F. But I'd be pushing it. But still, because of the whole Kaioken thing and all that, I think that's where Krillin kind of lands. So Resurrection F comes. Krillin and Vegeta, Krillin and Goku are all training, but they hear about Beerus attacking, and everyone's kind of fighting for their lives. Ultimately, though, I think a big enough power signal from Gohan of all people throwing out Super Saiyan energy is able to get them there. Their fight goes down pretty much the same. Well, I say pretty much the same. I need to actually backtrack and ask myself, do we even get a Super Saiyan or Resurrection F? Because now we've now gone into, we're now in Parade. I'm actually forgetting if I even had King Cold show up. Hold on. I know they killed Frieza flat out on Namek, so there is no Resurrection F here. That's right. Would there be a Resurrection C with the King Cold? Because I don't know. No, you know what? No, I don't think King Cold ever really comes to Earth, because I don't think he ever picks up on it. King Cold's still out there. So, yeah, I have to take back what I said. There is no Resurrection F. I actually had to really think on that. Add on the fact we have the Namekians to help out, too, in a pinch for things like that, because they're in their debt. They saved their entire race and gave Guru back his youth and all that. So Guru's who's kicking around, happy and go lucky. But point being, we wouldn't have Resurrection F. We'd actually have the Tournament 6 arc, or Universe 6 Tournament arc, which would be comprised of Goku, Vegeta, I keep saying Vegeta, Goku, Raditz, Krillin, and Piccolo in this case. There would be no Majin Buu, obviously, because Buu's not around. Beerus gets Monaka, and they do their thing. Goku goes first, beats Batamo, loses the Frost, gets reinstated after he's caught cheating. Piccolo then would fight Megarita and probably win, figuring out Megarita's weakness. Piccolo's a very smart fighter, though he's probably not as strong in this version as he is in the original. Then he eventually gets up against Kaba. Then I think you would get Krillin, or Raditz maybe versus Kaba. Raditz goes Super Saiyan and is able to ultimately one up, because Kaba was equal to base form Vegeta. Their base forms were just, even Vegeta said they were basically about even. And then when he went Super Saiyan and Kaba Super Saiyan, they were about evenly matched. He had to go blue though to basically just one-shot Kaba though. So Raditz would have to go Super Saiyan just to keep up with Kaba, but ultimately I think he would be able to keep up with Kaba. I don't see him trying to mentor Kaba in this version. He's more just a auxiliary character. But ultimately he does, he beats Kaba, hit comes, one shots or two shots him at best. Then Krillin comes out. You know, he's got gods or his base to some degree. He comes out, walks out, and they square off. And obviously he gets a few shots and to begin with. Krillin immediately goes into his god form, which gives him probably red hair or orangish hair. I think that'd be nicer, and a little orangish hair. His hair kind of goes all wavy-ish. So Goku, or Krillin is in god form. Doesn't really matter, as you saw, he can one-shot gods too, or god-level opponents too. But Krillin is also a longer-term martial artist than Vegeta. Remember, Vegeta's not a martial artist in the broad sense of the term. He didn't really, or in the general sense of the term, or no, broad sense of the term, in the specific sense of the term. He's not like Goku. He knows how to fight. He knows he's trained to fight, but he's not a true martial artist. Goku has trained legitimately in the martial arts. Vegeta's just picked up stuff. That's, I think, one of the big reasons why Vegeta lost a hit, is because he just wasn't, he wasn't trained in a way that his mind could adapt to hit in the same way a martial artist's mind could. Krillin is. Krillin actually has been a martial artist pretty much his whole life. So I think Krillin actually would be picking up a play from his wife's playbook and actually be able to kind of finally pick up on what hits dishing out and actually be able to block and predict him. Granted, Goku's better at this, and Krillin would probably take a couple more hits doing so, but ultimately, I think he does figure it out, and now starts to actually beat a hit back. This causes Hit to actually self-improve, and it doesn't take long for him to overwhelm Krillin, who can't go past the God form, sadly. So now it's gone to Goku, goes Super Saiyan Blue, has been predicting what Hit's been doing, and again, Hit's going through self-improvement, but she's pushing the bounds, shows off the Kaioken added on to it, because I'm sure Krillin would have taught her the Kaioken, but she would never have used it because of Super Saiyan. She never needed it. And their fight goes just about the same, ending with Monaka beating Hit. The Goku Black Arc. See, this is interesting because I don't know if your Goku Black Arc would be like a Krillin Black Arc. Because, I mean, they'd be focusing both on Goku and Krillin because they both have God Ki. But I guess the reason they didn't focus on Vegeta is because they just didn't get a good showing. Krillin got a better showing, so I guess the question is who got the showing? Who was the one that Zamasu saw more in the fight? My guess is it would be Goku, just based on the fact that she would be the one who's more powerful and showing off the Kaioken Blue. So you would still get a female Goku Black, wreaking havoc, only for wreaking havoc in the future. And the problem here now is the timeline shenanigans. In this version, we don't have the alternate timeline that Trunks is from. And the time machine was only built to save the day from the androids, not from Goku Black. I highly doubt Goku Black would give them the time of day to make a time machine. I mean, why Goku Black didn't do it, I say why, but we know the reason Goku Black didn't just destroy the planet. Goku Black wanted to, savor the moment, if you will. So it's an interesting little kerfuffle here. This is due to the fact that we could have an alternate, because of the multiverse shenanigans in Dragon Ball Z, we could still have a Trunks show up. But, given the fact they didn't do that in the previous segment, it could be, let's actually do around 20 minutes, let's do a branched timeline here. If we don't have a Trunks or someone come back in time, what happens? Everyone's screwed. Then, game over, done, yeah, because we know what happened in the timeline. But obviously, we're not going to end it. So what if a Trunks, let's say they're Trunks, and let's say Bulma did in fact make the time machine. They send Trunks back, Trunks attacks Goku, and, they explain the scenario. So obviously, Goku Black comes out. Now, Goku, while still wanting to fight and test her opponent, this Goku has been a bit more willing to be like, you're threatening my family and my friends and all that. It's like, no, I will not let you live. She's been a bit more like that, but I still think she lets Goku Black get away the first fight around. They go to the future. Krillin and Goku go to the future together, and, they meet Goku Black. Krillin goes into God form. It's not enough. Goku goes in, Super Saiyan Blue. It's not enough. They're able to hightail it out of there. Ultimately, they are able to succeed in getting out of there. Let's long-term short the Goku Black arc, because they go to the future like 2 separate times or 3 separate times, and they learn the Mafaba. I think Krillin, though, would actually be smart enough to get a seal tag for the Mafaba. Because Krillin, I think, is the bit more pragmatic of Roshi's students, and like Goku, actually was a student of Roshi, so most likely Krillin would, try to remember that. So they get the seal tag from Roshi, and they give it to probably get multiple. They each probably have one, as they've both been practicing the technique, and they go, and unlike before, where Zamasu ultimately broke out of there because there was no seal on that, they're able to seal him in there. So ultimately, that's the Zamasu stuck in there, which leaves just Goku Black for Goku and Krillin to be taking on, and they also ultimately have to use the sealing technique of the Mafaba, which circumvents the time rings because they're not killing them, they're sealing them. And so they seal him, bring him back to the past, and they bring him in for judgment by, the angels and Beerus and whatnot. Which leaves now the Tournament of Power. The preliminary matches would probably be Krillin, would be Goku, and maybe it would be Gohan or, Gohan or Raditz. Anyway, that goes probably not as well, but still about as well as it can be. That leads us now for the recruitment process of the Tournament of Power, which... So, Goku and Krillin are obvious ones. Those are your God tier fighters. Raditz, makes sense. Absolutely. 18 and 17, they are able to recruit them. So I would imagine they would be able to, so that's fine right there. Roshi, makes sense. Tien, makes sense. But we are missing a Vegeta, Frieza, and who am I missing else on that team? Piccolo. Piccolo is also on the team, so that's Piccolo. But we're missing a Frieza, and we're missing a Vegeta. And that is a problem. They may ask, maybe they might try to ask for a favor to get Vegeta out of prison, out of the equation. Bulma could say, well, I did find we did find something, or like the Andrews could say, we did actually end up finding something in the lab we came out of a while ago. Yeah, it might be able to help you. And then they go back to Jiro's old lab. They didn't destroy it, and there is a capsule that says Android 16. So they bring the capsule in. Bulma looks it over, make sure the program gets rid of the programming just to kill Goku, and 16 is woken up. But that still leaves one fighter. So who would they get? Who? And with Cold technically still being in the universe, I actually think is too bad we got rid of Frieza. You killed all the Frieza in his arm. We could get Frieza. No, we could get his father. We're taking a visit to Cold. We pack a sweater. It's about to get cold. And so there you go. And King Cold probably is just doing his thing. Yes, it's good to be me. Is it now, Cold? Lord Beerus, relax. I'm not here for you. Well, I am, but not for what you expect. How am I to be of service? Who are they? This is Son Goku and her husband, Krillin. A human and a Saiyan. And you say, a Saiyan you missed when our son missed when he destroyed the planet. Oh, a Saiyan. And they explain, like, let me put it this way, Gold. You will participate, or you will be, or I'll kill you. I'll kill you myself, so you won't even have the honor of being erased. Sorry, I'll kill you myself, and then you'll be erased as soon as the afterlife gets erased. Yeah, yes. And no holding back, Cold. Full power from the beginning. Oh, very well, Lord Beerus. And Cold's like, what do they mean? He's like, that's right. He's only in his second form. And he goes into his final form, his true form, which Toriyama said to be around the same level as Semi-Perfect Cell, which is impressive. So there's your team up, their lineup. And obviously they'd go to the tournament. Tournament would begin, and it would be all hell. So we're almost at the 30-minute mark. I'm just going to gloss over a lot here and just give you the bullet points of what would happen in this tournament. Would it be the end for the group, or would it not be? And the guys have a legitimate question. I think the early matches and preliminaries, they go about our preliminary matches. The early matches, early knockouts, all stay about the same. The only difference is here, Krillin does not get knocked out because Krillin's got God tier strength here, and isn't going to be as cocky because he's been trained this whole time. I think your first knockouts are probably going to be Tien, and then probably Roshi. We know it went. Oh god, I think it actually went Krillin, then it went Roshi. It was Krillin, Tien, and then Roshi. And Roshi kind of fell out because he was just too tired. I think Tien would go first, and then Roshi ultimately. The Kale thing would kind of go the same up until, it would go the same. The whole Kale issue, and then Jiren kind of knocks her out. Goku and Jiren have their fight ultimately. It does not go well, but Krillin aids his wife with a spirit bomb as well, and that's the one thing she probably did not learn. And throws a spirit bomb, and they together are trying to push the spirit bomb back, and they can't. Goku is gets Krillin out of the way. Goku! And she gets engulfed by the spirit bomb, only to activate Ultra Instinct. That fight happens. She's beaten by all accounts, and then I think someone would eventually find her and give her some energy. Maybe Krillin, or Piccolo, or someone. It wouldn't be King Cold. I actually don't think King Cold would make it to the end. He's just not that strong compared to his son at that point. King Cold would not make it to the end, but excuse me. I think he would knock out a few good stragglers. He might go out from Universe 4. Long story short, when it comes to the final people left for the tournament, I think Universe 9 would still be Goku and Krillin because they're the two god level opponents. You would still probably have 17. You may or may not have Raditz still around. I would argue maybe Raditz might be sticking around because at this point he's not just got Super Saiyan, he's got Super Saiyan 2. So they would struggle like they did against Jiren. Krillin just isn't as strong as Vegeta at this point, especially with Evolved Blue that he doesn't have. But just like Goku, I think he finally just figures out how to add Kaioken onto his Super Saiyan God form, which helps compensate. They're able to tag team Jiren for a little bit, give him just a little bit of trouble. Then, ultimately, you need to lead to the knockouts, which again, ultimately turns into Goku going Ultra Instinct for the last time. She's still evaluating knockout Kefla. To have their fight. Unfortunately, in knowing 17 how tricky he is, 17 still manages to make it out of the fight. All's well that ends well. As Goku gets knocked out, but again knocked back in. Him and Jiren, fight for a little bit. Ultimately, he does the thing where he grabs Jiren and explodes Jiren. And then 17, is able actually to. 17, I don't think lingers. I think 17 is able to just blast him out of the ring. So yeah, I think they would probably barely manage to win, but I think they would win. And then when you get to Broly, it'd probably be a lot of the same stuff with their fights. The only difference is you get a fusion of. Well, you wouldn't really get fusion. There would be no fusion here. I mean, I guess King Kai or someone could mention how to fuse. Or, Beerus asked for, like, the Platara from, or Whis or Beerus gets the Platara from Shin or something like that, so they could Platara fusion. So you'd get what? Vegeta only has the Vegito name because of the Vegeta influence, and that's why people argue this with me. I'm like, no, Vegito is called Vegeta because it's clear. The first name, Vegeta's personality, while they're a meld, it seems to influence the fusion just a bit more, whereas the Gogeta fusion seems to influence that. The Goku personality seems to influence that just a bit more. They're obviously still the same blend. It's just one personality seems to dominate over the other because one goes by Goku Vegeta, while the other goes with Vegeta Kakaroto or Vegito. Here, that wouldn't be the case, so you'd probably have either, oh god, that'd be interesting, fusing together, say, hey, whoa, wow, this is interesting. Oh my god, what's this? Insert your fan fiction here, folks. You would get what? Gorillin? Gorillin. Or Krillin. Neither are very good. I'll go Krillin. That at least doesn't sound like Gorilla. And they would ultimately probably beat Broly together as one being. That is the general, plot outline for the end of the series. I could have pushed this to 2, but seeing as we're starting the week of What If next week, and I'm starting the new Naruto What If as well, I kind of wanted to start on the heels of a new Dragon Ball What If as well. So until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review at some point. Hit bell if you want to be notified. And join us next week for the new What If, whatever it'll be, Dragon Ball or otherwise related. Till then, see you later.